Hi guys, and welcome back to Hummingbird Acres. We are back from our 3-week trip to Virginia, and we came back to a complete jungle in the garden. There were so many things that needed our attention and needed our help. So we spent the past week getting everything cleaned up and giving the garden some much needed attention. So today I'm going to show you guys what is growing in our garden, some things that we did when we got back, and some things that we're gonna do in the upcoming weeks. Hi. So let's go into the garden and see what's growing. So here is our garden. One of the first things we did when we got back was cut the grass. And you can already tell that the grass needs to be cut again. So that will be on the list. And then we have some major weeding to do. We grow in landscaping mesh. And for some reason this year, the landscaping mesh in some of these beds is not working out too well. This is our zinnia bed here, and we are just riddled with weeds around the edges. So we have been doing a lot of weeding since we've been back. Since we're here at the zinnia bed, let's go ahead and look at this. Hunter is stealing blueberries. So when we got back, I did a major deadheading on our zinnias. Zinnias are cut and come again flowers, so the more you cut, the more that they will bloom. And everything that was here was looking pretty dead and pretty sad. So I went through and I basically cut all of the blooms out of this bed, and that way it signaled to the flower to grow some more. So I did that. I am not a big fan of reds, and some yellows are okay, some oranges are okay, but mainly when it comes to cut flowers, I am not a red person. So a lot of these red zinnias I let go and just let them go to seed. Our other flower bed are dahlias, and these are really starting to come into themselves. We have got some great blooms, but you can also see we are getting lots of bug damage right now. So what we have done is we have gotten some bug bags. These are the Japanese beetles are what's causing damage. So we got some bug bags and we're gonna hang them up. So that one's gorgeous. We're gonna hang them up, so hopefully that will help with some of our pest pressure with our flowers. These are our potatoes. They are definitely ready to be harvested. This will be on the list for probably early next week. We will get these all harvested out of here. As the boy who keeps stealing blueberries, he's not going to eat his dinner. But this is all looking great. Our perennials are looking good as well. I'm really excited about this Dawn redwood that we had propagated a couple years ago, or maybe it was a year ago. But I potted this year, and it is taking off. Super, super excited about that. One of the things we did do while we were in Virginia was plan out and start our pollinator garden there. And one of the big things that we're going to be putting in our pollinator garden is coneflowers. So I was really excited to come home and find out that this coneflower in here was orange. When we were planning the pollinator garden and starting to lay it out, everything we have is purple, including the bee balm that's right there. So we have been looking for some pollinator plants to add some color to our pollinator garden. If you have any suggestions for some pollinator friendly flowers that would add some color, leave them in the comments below. We are always looking for new and interesting flowers to add to our garden. And as you know, I love propagating things and growing things, so always adding more. The perennial bed's looking great. Berries are coming along. Something we were really, really happy to see. Oh, here, Hunter found more blueberries. Something we were really happy to see when we came home is these fig trees that we got. These were tiny when we bought them, and they have taken off. Those look absolutely great. And there's another one in here somewhere. Oh, this one right here. That is looking great. All of our pear trees are doing good. Apple tree. Again, we are facing some major weeds in a lot of our beds, and all of that needs to be addressed. Getting some of the other things cleaned up, I'll show you in a minute, was first priority, and weeds are next. So weeds will be on our next thing on our list of the next things to do. Apple trees that we grafted from Mountain Run Farm, those are looking great. The sunflowers that Henley and I planted in cups are getting a little bit too big for the cups, but this is a prime example of we have a major pest problem right now. So that is number one on our list before we leave again for another vacation. Somebody asked about the cherry trees and the plum trees. So the plum tree is here on the end. That seems to be looking really good. 2 cherry trees, those are looking awesome. And then we have another plum tree over here. So all of the plum trees and the cherry trees in pots are doing phenomenal. Very happy with that. This is our wall of tomatoes, and this was crazy when we got home. Like, we could not see through it. You could not see the black on the landscaping mesh. This was just out of control. We spent a lot of time cleaning this and pruning it up, and by doing that, we found all of those tomatoes down there. We found lots of great tomatoes there, even more right there. Thank you, Hunter. I left this one not tied up because I kind of ran out of space and didn't have a place to tie it. But I love seeing that all of these tomato plants are setting fruit. We've also had a pretty mild beginning of summer, so we have lots of tomatoes, which is awesome. Because the tomatoes won't flower when it gets too hot. They kind of go into like a dormant, and then they'll pick back up again once the temperatures get cooler. So super excited to see how well that was doing. Apple trees seem to be doing well, and the apples, I don't know if you can see in there, the apples are growing. We don't really have like an expectation for these apple trees this year, just trying to get them. Something that did not bear well or fare well while we were gone is this peach tree. We came back and the whole pot was full of water. So it's almost like the pot's not draining and it's causing issues for the tree. So that is a little concerning for us. We've been watching that to see how that is doing. After we cut the grass and was able to see everything, the next thing on our list was to pull all of the garlic out of this bed. So we harvested all of our garlic and we are drying it for the next 2 weeks, and then we will get ready to store it. I will have a video out later this week about harvesting garlic and preserving it. Yeah, there is an apple right there. I will have a video out later this week about harvesting garlic and preserving it. We got a great garlic harvest. We were super, super excited about that. All of this was very covered in weeds as well. All of this is going to be cleaned up. So we will clean this up and we are going to plant more tomatoes here. So that will happen probably this weekend. Again, so much pest pressure. You can see all in here, definitely something we've got to address, but those trees are faring pretty well. Something that was just out of control when we got back was these squashes. We have so many butternut squashes, as you can see, and these vines were everywhere. So we had to train them to climb this arch trellis. In doing so, we did lose, I think, a vine or two, but overall we did fairly well. And this side is spaghetti squash. And let me see if I can find, there's a couple right there. There's a small one, there's a small one over there, but there is a huge one down there. Right here. Oh, can't see. There's a huge one right there, and there's another huge one down there. Now, like everyone knows, squash don't come without squash bugs. And I'm hoping you guys can see that. There you go. So we have squash bugs and they are pretty bad. We are hoping that we'll be able to get some fruit out of this before they just destroy everything. But we came back to a major squash bug issue as well. But that is the course when you are growing squash. So we are just riding it out. Super excited to see when we came back how many peppers we had. all of these, like every single one of these pepper plants that we did has at least 3 or 4 peppers, which is a lot more than we got last year. So that was exciting. And we have a few, we didn't plant a lot of hot peppers, but we do have some jalapenos in here as well. What's wrong? Hunter found a blackberry. Stay still. Back up. So our first blackberry, you're gonna eat it?
Good.
Is it good? That one's mine then. Mine. We came back to a lot of berries. This one particular berry bush is just covered in berries. So this was an exciting thing to come back to. Oh, there's another one. Don't tell him. Here, let's see. There's another one right here. Oh, you won't tell Dad. Another bed we were pretty happy with. Carrots seem to be doing great. And we have some onions. Not a lot, but we do have some onions. So we're super excited about that. Nope, we're not pulling any carrots out yet. Super excited about the onions. We grew these onions from seed. We weren't sure if they were gonna germinate, but they did. And we planted them just to see what would happen. And the carrots, we had great success with the carrots last year and hope to have same success this year. Something else on my list once we got back is to do something with this herb tower. Before we left, I gave it a haircut so it wouldn't bolt. And now I just need to start harvesting so that we can start drying these herbs, but they are all looking great. I think we are in need of some water out here, hence the reason those are falling over, so I'll take care of that in a minute. Our grapevine from Aldi's is doing good, except for it doesn't like its pole. I gave it a pole so it wouldn't climb my flowers, but it's not liking it, but we'll get there. So that is that. So that is pretty much this garden out here. Very happy with everything that is growing and how everything is turning out. So I'm gonna take you over to our other garden and we will check that one out too. Before we left for Virginia, I had taken some cuttings of some tomatoes and put them in a jar and we let them root. And right before we left, I had to pot them up. So these are the tomatoes that we grew from suckers, and these are the ones that are gonna go in the garden in the bed where the garlic was. So those are doing great. While we were in Virginia, we learned that the space we have for the pollinator garden is actually quite big. So I need to start propagating some more. So when we got back, I did more coneflowers, I did some daylilies, mimosa tree, some redbud trees, and just started propagating and gathering a bunch more plants. And then here are some of the other ones. These are yuccas, more redbuds. I brought plants back from Virginia, more pollinator plants there. And then these pollinator towers just took off. They're looking amazing.
I saw a hummingbird suck on the bee.
You saw the hummingbird suck on the bee balm? Mm-hmm. Yeah. More here, not 100% sure why.
Cat.
Oh, Hunter says the cat might have been in there. That would make sense. But this is doing well. Our butterfly bushes, look, you guys can see the bumblebee. Loving on the pollinators today. All doing great. Here is more of what I propagated. These are all doing great as well. Need to combat the weeds a little bit, but overall that is doing great. Coming back to all of these green beans was a lot of fun. These bushes have taken off. They are producing so much fruit. As you can see, Hunter's grabbing them. Producing so much fruit. Nice garden snacks when we come out here. You can probably tell our list is getting long. But green beans are another thing that need to be harvested here soon. And I think we're gonna pressure can them this year. So that is on the agenda for, I believe, this weekend. And look here, more pollinators.
There's 3.
One last thing before we sign off for today is, yep, our strawberry tower. This thing it is just cranking out the strawberries. No sir, no sir, no sir, not right now. It is cranking out the strawberries. It's cranking out the runners, and we've been tucking them in and getting them re-rooted. And yeah, it's just gonna keep producing. Look at all these. We're so excited. We're gonna have strawberries for a while. Oh, don't knock me over. Thank you guys so much for hanging out at the farmhouse with us today. I hope you guys enjoyed our July garden. We are super excited about it, and I want you guys to make sure that you subscribe to our email list. There is a link below for you. We have a fun surprise coming out for our viewers and our subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to our email list so you can be the first to know about it. And thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hi.